On Easter weekend, Ipswich's end of season form started to wilt like a chocolate egg in the April sun. There was no miracle return from the dead at Rotherham. If only James Nord had made something of Wes Jesus Burns' cross right at the start of the game. Happy Easter, everyone, and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast. Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast, discussing the town up or down since 2015. I'm Richard Woodward and you're tuned into the Flagship show, available each week on podcast and video. This is the Rotherham away edition, and joining me, the Cadbury's Buttons egg of the Blue Monday squad, the ever dependable, albeit a little bit delicate, David Diamond. Happy Easter, Dave. How are you?
And you too, Rich. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Like I explained earlier, we're recording a little bit later than we originally planned due to my slightly delicate disposition this morning after being out with some friends last night. But great to catch up. It was a good evening. And yeah, I've got to say, loved your Easter intro, of course. And obviously the Norwood miss in front of about 1,100 disciples, I have to say. But there you go. You know.
There we go.
Yeah, no. How's things with you? It's lovely to have some nice weather for once on a bank holiday weekend, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous.
I've ticked all the bank holiday weekend chores off. I did some painting and decorating. I've kind of had a few months off when I moved down here.
Yeah.
And painted 3 rooms, I think it was, 2 bedrooms and a kitchen.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm painting the hallway and landing, starting with the hallway. Not tricky. A fun job, that. No. At some point, I'm going to have to figure out how to do the bit above the stairs, which is too high for.
Yeah, that usually involves scaffolding and stuff. And when it comes to that, my wife just doesn't have me do it. And usually gets her brother to do it actually. But that's what bank holiday weekends are for. You know. Yeah, I spent I had the perennial trip. It's perennial, yeah, probably is actually, to B&Q yesterday, and their plant sale. So you know what I'm going to be doing later. So there you go. All good stuff. I don't mind doing that in weather like this. It's great, isn't it?
Hoping to see Rosie as well.
Rosie is coming over tomorrow for her first trip. Yeah, for her first trip here tomorrow. Both parents are now free of COVID. So we met her for the first time last Wednesday, which is great. I mean, they've had an incredible time, really, both, because, Jordan and Hannah both came out of hospital with COVID. And then Hannah's parents got COVID, not off them, they got it separately. So the little one was virtually 2 weeks old. And up until then, other than the midwife, the health visitor, Jordan and Hannah, no one else had held her at all or met her. So, yeah, she's had a bit of a strange sort of first couple of weeks, but yeah, no, she's coming over tomorrow, I think.
Oh, lovely stuff. She won't remember it anyway, Dave, so don't worry about it. So that'd be nice. And when she's a little bit older, Easter egg hunt and all that fun stuff, I get to do that later on with my niece as well. So
that's what it's all about, mate.
Exciting times. Let's talk about more mundane matters, shall we? Let's jump into the news. And a lot of this is recapping stuff that Mikey and Dave chatted about on the midweek Q&A, so definitely worth heading back and listening to that anyway. But we'll try and find a different angle to this one. The fine for Ipswich and Cambridge for failing to conduct themselves in an orderly fashion, Dave, at the end of our recent game. Mark Bonner's quotes on this are quite interesting. He thought the fine was extortionate, $2,500. You don't want to see unsavoury scenes, and you don't want ill discipline. You don't want a lack of respect in certain things. He's telling us a lot of things that we don't want. A few people having an argument on a football pitch. It's hardly too dramatic. The FA will enjoy their end of season with $5,000 in the pot, I'm sure. What can you get with $5,000, Dave?
No, mate, not much for those players. Probably it did kick off, didn't it? It did kick off at the end. Much. Obviously, words were said. We'll never know what was said that really instigated it all. But I think a lot of that, I have to say, defend my team to the hill, always will. But very much, I think 6 of one, half dozen in the other, and a lot of that brought about by certainly our frustration at what perhaps would be perceived to be, we've been all through this before this season, gamesmanship and time wasting, which actually I thought on the day Cambridge weren't half as bad as a lot of other teams,
No.
to be fair. And Lincoln, look at the result they went. Well, we'll get onto that, but look what they've subsequently done. I mean, blimey. So yeah, it was it's passion. It's football is passionate, but it was pretty full on at the end. I mean, it was just a mass brawl at the end, pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
Bond
it didn't
wasn't happy, was
surprise
he?
me, and really in the overall scheme of things, not being churlish really, but £2.5 aside. I mean, what did they bother really, for goodness sake?
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, the last few weeks, this has kind of crept in. And maybe this is the playoffs have kind of gone a frustration, but we saw it at the end of Shrewsbury. It got a little bit fighty.
It's
Then
frustration,
it
really.
got a bit fighty against Rotherham. I mean, both teams were giving it some. Is there going to be more fines, do you think, after Saturday?
Possible.
Possibly not.
I think you do on totting up of bookings, don't you? I mean, how was it 5? Is it 5 that instigates a fine? I'm
Oh,
not
I'm not
sure.
sure.
Maybe I've got that wrong. I thought I saw that
Yeah,
somewhere.
no, I think
but
that rings a bell.
I'm not sure how many, but was there 5 or 6 yesterday for us? I mean, it was a
Just
lot.
checking that out.
I mean, to be
stats here. Oh, I can't. That's too small.
the
Keep going,
ref,
Dave. Sorry.
to be fair, the ref made a rod for his own back, didn't he? Because early on in the game, he was letting things go, wasn't he? Which you want to see, but then I think players on both sides then started to take liberties, and it was just card happy in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, 5 yellows on Saturday for Ipswich, 4 for Rotherham. I thought, I mean, you always think this when you watch your team, but I thought their fans were very fussy. I thought the referee was doing quite a good job of trying to let the game play on, and then we'll talk about half time, won't we, and how that kind of
my youngest son went, and he said the fans were all at it all game, at it, and all round the stadium they were at it all game.
Something to watch.
I'm not saying it didn't sway the result, and didn't sort of sway the referee, but in trying to let the game flow and perhaps letting in the first half, letting 1 or 2 obvious ones go. Like I said, he probably made a rod for his own back later on. But and
I thought Nord was hard done by on a few occasions yesterday as well. But
he was, but does his reputation go before him a bit? To be fair, and then I mean, first half you had the Selena pantomime incident.
Yeah, we'll talk about
that was just pure
frustration.
It's all it is, isn't it?
It feels like it,
frustration.
Doesn't it?
Having said that, the guy he was up against there, Rathbone, was like, probably quite rightly man of the match. He was at it all game. Was he dogged? Wasn't he? Really
smart.
Yeah,
he's got. I think he had 10 yellow cards for them going into the game.
Did he?
And he's from midfield has got the most tackles per average of any player.
He's a ratter, isn't he? He really just gets around, gets his foot in. But you know what I mean? He gets his foot in. Good player. There was one pass there yesterday. Great pass. Whether he'd been offside or not, he can play as well. We'll get to this, but just more frustration again yesterday, really, after such a, again, really good start to the game.
Yeah, it's a shame, wasn't it? Yeah, let's finish off the bits and pieces of news. Again, you mentioned this on Wednesday with Mikey. Lee O'Neill's departure, not really a surprise. But again, someone who is maybe a little bit Marmite when it comes to the town sport. Obviously, the face for a large proportion of his time for Marcus Evans, and maybe the dysfunction behind the scenes. Rightly got people frustrated. But
I think so, Rich. I think you'd say under Evans he was a what's that phrase? Almost minister without portfolio type thing, if you know what I mean.
Jack of all trades.
Look, he's Ipswich through and through, isn't he? Let's face it. Came through. I think he came through the Ipswich Academy. His father played for the FA Cup winning team with the likes of Walkie and Russell Osman and people like that back in the mid 70s. I mean, he just had so much, under Evans. Obviously, funds were so scarce, or reportedly scarce. I mean, he had so many jobs to contend. So I think he was academy manager and then director of football operations at the same time, wasn't he? For goodness' sake, I mean, and he was the last, of anyone who had a reasonable senior, I guess you would say, behind the scenes job at the club. He's the last remaining link from the old guard, isn't he? And that was no. And look, who knows? It may well have been contractual that he stayed on another year with a bit of an agreement to, phase other people into the club. I don't know, but good luck to the lad. I say he was, not an easy job. Certainly not under the previous owner, I don't think.
No, and maybe a bit unfairly maligned by the
I
sport. I
agree.
can understand why. The thing that I will always kind of recall from him is saying that there is no takeover, and I think maybe dismissing Paul Cook being appointed very quickly,
Yeah,
and both of those within a few days turn out to be inaccurate. But that's not
it's not his fault.
necessarily his fault, is it? It's thrusted in front of a journalist and asked to answer a question. All he can do is do to the best of his knowledge.
No,
Worth saying as well that Kieran Stanley from ITFC Women, the media officer who we speak to occasionally on the pre-match show,
yeah,
was really positive about Lee O'Neill. Said really kind things about how
that's
he's
good.
been part of integrating that team with the rest of the Ipswich Town squads.
Yeah,
Joe Sheehan gets mentioned in Lee O'Neill's parting remarks as well. I think he was there either for the Southampton game or last week against Chichester and Stelsey.
right.
So took a real interest in the women's team actually, and I think really highly thought of by folk there. So we wish
Good
him
luck
well,
to
don't we?
good luck to him. I'm sure he'll pick. I'm sure he'll pick up a position somewhere else. Obviously well qualified lad. Went to Loughborough for goodness sake and got this, academic qualifications for the job. So yeah, let's wish all good things for him. Really, I never had a problem with him.
No, exactly right. Talking of ITFC women, they face London Bees later on or on Sunday at some point, depending when you're listening to this, off the back of a very frustrating 1-1 draw against Chichester and Chelsea, sponsored by the Friends of Blue Monday. I need to mention Chris, who was able to join me for that one, and we gave Bonnie Horwood our player of the match. It was one of those ones very typical of the men's team at the moment, Dave, where you should. I guess we haven't had a game where we should turn up and win yet, but that was very much one of those ones. But the Southampton game obviously took it out of the team, and there's a lot of frustration and disappointment at full time. But we need to remember what a great season they've had. London Bees, winnable game. They need to get second place, don't they? To at least get second place to make.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't go. I couldn't go last week, but there was what I did notice and see that there was. I didn't realise this went on at that level. There was a sin. There was a sin binning.
Yeah. So Paige Peake was trying to build an attack from defence because Chichester was sitting deep, so it was plenty of time on the ball for her.
Yeah.
Little niggly foul just outside our penalty area, which Paige wanted to play on for quite fairly because the advantage was there. Referee called it back. She gave him a piece of her mind with a word that he took exception to. And not only did she get put in the sin bin for 10 minutes, she got a yellow card as well. And it was because we were there's kind of like now since the West Ham game, they've kept a little, I was going to say roped off area, but it's got a metal fence. But the sponsors get to sit in between the two dugouts or stand in between the two dugouts. So it's really fascinating hearing the coaching staff talk about that.
Yeah.
I had a really good chat with Joe Sheehan about time wasting before the game kicked off as well. So if you want to sponsor the team and get, real close insights and access, then have a chat with Theo Bennyworth at Ipswich Town about doing sponsorship. But yeah,
was surely there must have been, because if I'd have been watching, obviously not where you were sitting, but if I'd have been watching, and I thought, well, hang on, she's been sent off. What's going on? I had no idea that was. Did you?
We all had to get our phones out and Google the rules. I
was going to say it totally.
Yeah, it is a thing, but we didn't know that getting a booking was the same thing. And then with the linesman was right in front of us as well. And we were asking the lino, well, what happens if she gets a second yellow card then? Does that first one count? Yeah. I can't remember what he said, but it's a very confusing rule. Obviously, it's about dissent and avoiding, and about promoting respect for the officials.
Yeah,
weird situation.
Not a problem with it. I mean, it's in rugby. The only time a place I've ever seen that is in rugby. But good stuff. I mean, it's sort of, it's the leagues. The whole it is how. It is slightly different. I mean, we all know that we've been over this on the pod, haven't we? To promote the whole promotion thing slightly. I'm not askew because that's the rules. When you enter the competition, start the season, the rules. You have to finish top to have a chance to get promotion. Obviously you do, but there's no no up and down top two or playoffs or anything like that. Just play off for the top spot. So interesting, really interesting.
And worth noting that the Northern Premier Division, Wolves won the league and a canter last week with 4 games left for them, I think. So Wolves will be the favourite for that playoff game. And what you don't want is you end up finishing second to Southampton, and then Southampton come back next season because
that's true.
there's no sound that the rules are going to change either in terms of numbers up and down. So makes us much.
I mean, we were both at that. Obviously, you were there, and I was there. That Southampton game a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they just totally dominant. I mean, that was a strange one. Again, that kind of mirrored us a little bit. The men's team, where we're totally dominant first half, 1-0. Just a comfortable 1-0. I wouldn't say we should have been 2 or 3 up, but a comfortable 1-0, dominated possession, 1-1 second balls, and then just a completely different game second half. I mean, I think tactically Southampton changed, and it was just total domination. They deserved it. You could see, they were, really very much in control, and very good side. The cup game was good as well. That was a really close game too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So just a shame that it's kind of unravelled a little bit over the last few weeks. But again, maybe as you said, that long season, the season has sort of taken its toll a little bit.
And as I said just before as well, a pretty impressive season. The first at this level. The supporters club are taking votes for player of the season. Who'd be your pick?
Do you know what? Do you know, Royal Rich? The games I've seen, I think I've seen 3 or 4. And in every game, they all stand out. They've all played really well. Do you know the one that has impressed me most, who I think is perhaps a little bit unsung, is the fullback, Summer Hughes. Whenever I've seen her play, she's always, and I don't think she played. Was it last week or the week?
She was away within England on England youth level. Yeah,
I mean, Abby's been, Abby left has been fantastic. Watching her play her left foot's just brilliant. Paige Peak at the back. I mean, crikey, striking a ball, diagonal balls about 40, 50 yards. Bonnie Hillwood in midfield. But the one that's impressed me, and she's always good, always eager to get forward, usually delivers, final ball, is Summer at right back. I think she's, personally, whenever I've seen them play, she's always played to a really consistent level.
There you go. That's a great shout, that. I like kind of an unsung hero of the team.
No,
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, for me.
Very good. I'd probably, out of loyalty, but also because of, again, consistency and quality on the ball, I think Laffy's got a really great shot.
Oh, she's
a lot of top assist maker, I think, now.
Perhaps it was a bit too. Perhaps Laffy was for me a little bit too obvious because we sponsor her. But no, she's had a absolutely brilliant season, and there've been certain games we've been watching, and we haven't really created much, and you just think, oh, forget a free kick, is more than very much unlike the first team.
Yeah,
but perhaps we'll get onto that. Her delivery's absolutely, and she can play. Sorry, she's more than that. Yeah, what amazing left foot. But I would say the young fullback has done really, really well.
There you go. I'm happy to stand by you on that one. There's the Blue Monday vote.
There you go.
Great stuff, Dave. We'll be back after this.
With wings more crisp than a James Norwood finish, ribs meatier than Sam Morsey tackle, and chicken tastier than Wes Burns, Favourite is Britain's tastiest chicken. And as a listener of the Blue Monday podcast, you can get 20% off by entering BM20 at the checkout. Order direct from their menu at chicken-ipswich.co.uk. They'll deliver anywhere within a 2.7 mile radius of the store. And if you're not quite as local as the Bond family, you can click and collect. The store is located just off Hadley Road. Favourite, Britain's tastiest chicken.
Let's head to Yorkshire. And did you like that? A bit of Yorkshire accent for you there. That's what that was, if anyone didn't really pick up on that. And Rotherham, an out of form Rotherham, 4 defeats out of 6 going into this one, 22nd in the form table, if I recall my pre-match notes correctly. And the big news, Dave, was a league debut I think he's from Indonesia. I'm not sure. Has he got 1 million Instagram followers, Dave? I'm not too sure. Alkan Baggett made his first.
It was a lot of conjecture throughout the week. He was pulled out of the 23s game earlier in the week, wasn't he? He's been on the bench, I think, the last few games, and always been in and around the squad now for the match day squad for. When he's not on the bench, you see him sort of walking up in his tracksuit and stuff with the squad. So probably since New Year, probably under McKenna, probably. After Cameron Burgess' indiscretion at Shrewsbury last week. And we thought, will we put him into such a big game, atmosphere on Sky, they need to win, they're going for promotion, they're big and physical, and is it the game? But it's the old adage, if they're good enough, they're old enough type thing. And great to see. I mean, there was sort of conjecture about maybe moving Thompson inside from left back, but look, he's not our player. No, really, really pleasing to see that. The one, a bright spot over the last, since probably the Plymouth game, let's face it. The brightest spot probably.
And Thompson slotting in alongside him instead of Penny, presumably to provide a little bit more defensive cover.
A little bit more defensive, I think, and a bit more physical. Yeah, I think so.
And otherwise, the only other change, Selena coming in for Chaplin. No real surprises there. Potentially Selena, one of the squads who got ill 2 weeks ago, that was mentioned in the pre-match before Shrewsbury. As for Rotherham, there was definitely a case of a bit of pack shuffling in their defeat to Pompey midweek.
4 changes, I think.
And then on Saturday as well, a little bit of weirdness. So Richard Wood, it was really difficult for me when I talked about him in the pre-match to not say my own name. So Richard Wood, just a singular Wood, no Woods or Woodwards. Getting on a bit now. I think he's 36 and was caught out a little bit for certainly the second goal. So no surprise really that Warren tries to bring a bit more pace into the team. So Edmonds Green comes in for him. He's on loan from Huddersfield. Jay Harding in for Joe Mattock, although Harding generally plays on the right, but he was playing on the left-hand side.
Joe Mattock, how old is he?
Leicester, I think. Michael Smith we know about, a little bit out of form and is going to come into form, sadly for us. But the strikers alongside him, Coyote played midweek, but has only scored 1 goal in about 20 appearances. The other guy, Ladapo, had a really good season up till January and then handed in a transfer request that didn't kind of pay off. No one came in for him. So he's still there. And that possibly is a little bit of unsettling there. So Michael Miller coming in for him. And you mentioned Ollie Rathbone at the start. He came in for Daniel Barlaser, which was a bit of a surprise because Barlaser has been pretty much never present in the defensive midfield position there. So a little bit of jiggery-pokery from Paul Warren, certainly trying to find some form from somewhere. It was interesting. Was it Gareth Ainsworth's point in the pre-match analysis that sometimes managers just make a tactical change just to give players something to engage their brains? But it didn't. They didn't look familiar with it, Dave, did they? And that possibly helped us.
No, you know what? It was, it was the injury, really. Unfortunately, almost fortunately for them and unfortunately for us, they got we'll get onto it, but they got the injury sort of midway through the first half, which sort of changed things, didn't it? There was definitely a change of formation there, and I think that certainly helped them far more than it helped us. Not saying that Warren wouldn't have perhaps done it at half time or something, but it was a bit unfortunate for us, that one.
Yeah, I did feel like, as you said, it played into his hands a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to drill too much into the match action because there isn't a great deal of clear-cut stuff, but the key one really for us is chance in 8 minutes. A lovely ball over the top by Luco, and Burns doesn't do a huge amount wrong here, does he?
Oh, what a ball. What an assist. I don't know. You can almost take a touch. You could almost have taken a touch. Almost. I mean, okay. Did the ball bobble? Really? He's just got to adjust and put it. From what was he, 6 yards? I mean, and you would have probably all our strikers at the moment. That's who you wanted it to have fallen to. Scored the week before. Yeah, whether he just takes his eye off it. Almost goes with it with the wrong foot. Tries to put it in with his left foot, which isn't his strongest foot. You think he just lash it in with his right. Yeah. Oh, all right, you'll hit him then across the ball as it comes in. But 1-0, crowd get edgy. You're on top. You're on top. Different. When I say it, so you'll be saying this every week. Score early, whatever. Different game from then on, isn't it? It's got to score.
Yeah, they were definitely nervous, you say. And then, as you say, the injury.
Even after that.
Second.
Even after that, well in control. Again, control, winning pretty much every second ball, or certainly falling for us, playing with confidence. One brilliant, Baggett. What really made me sit up, there was one where it was shaky start. I think he paid Morsey in with a bit of a hospital ball. There was one left foot ball up the line for Norwood, about 40 yarder up the line. Kid's 2-footed as well. So
lovely, lovely
little bits and pieces. But
and as you say, the injury to Miller then leads to this shift in momentum. You can see it here on the green blocks here, or for those watching on YouTube. And then we're out of the game really, and it's Barlaser, who I mentioned, who comes on, the kind of screening midfielder, but he's got a good dead ball in his locker as well. He's won his last 4 games for Rotherham when he's played against Ipswich as well, so he knows how to be. He's he's a decent player. I was surprised that he was left out, but
I liked
again,
him.
Paul
I
Ward
liked,
trying to make
well,
something
obviously
happen.
Rathbone did a job, didn't he? And I thought he was good, competitive. I quite like Wales. There was that one ridiculous run in the first half. I quite liked him as well. Yeah, some good players there, and well, we'll get onto it afterwards. But what a couple of days they've had. Crikey.
Well, and Rathbone is kind of in two bits of action at the end of the first half. One is what looks like a penalty for me by foul on Janassian.
Late, yeah.
And then Selena, is this a red card or
season, isn't it?
has the rules been? I think they were on Sky. They were talking about the rules have been changed or the referees have been given an instruction, because I think there was a similar moment at Huddersfield earlier in the week after a penalty against Luton. I think it was, where there was
hands
a
in
shove.
the chest. I mean, is it type of excessive force? I mean, he does go over
He does.
Pretty theoretically,
he knows what he's doing.
as you would expect him to. Hands were laid on it. The hands were definitely laid on. It's just frustration from Selena, isn't it? And we've seen this, we spoke about the Cambridge, earlier on, right through the squad in recent weeks. I think the squad can see that, on our day with, some football we play, and everyone watching the game, the summarisers and stuff, the commentators, fantastic football. When Ipswich get their passing game together, there's no one really there's no one in this division to touch them. So it's pure frustration.
And Rathbone, it was a naughty foul on Selena. I thought they might have booked him for that, and that might have actually nipped
cheap shot
in the bud. But Selena frustrated because he didn't really contribute. For me, we'll talk about that more at the end.
No, he didn't.
Second half begins and it's still quite feisty. Norwood gets a booking for a kind of an arm in the face of Urique, which I thought he was going for the ball, and I think the commentators on Sky thought similarly.
But, because his eyes are on the ball, isn't it? His eyes on the ball, so you can't. No one jumps like this. Is always my point. No one jumps like this, for Christ's sake. You have to. You leave when you jump. You lever with your arms.
Yeah,
And
Aluka is going to get booked partway through the second half for going in for a 50-50 at a corner.
Oh, that was a joke. I'm sorry, that was an absolute joke. Because if you're his manager, you're going to bollock him afterwards for not. If he pulls away from that, you're going to bollock him for not going for it, aren't you?
Exactly.
That's an absolute joke.
And the fact that the keeper gets injured is unfortunate,
on the chest, but he has 50-50 challenge. Attacker against goalkeeper. But Rich, right from the start, second half, every single second ball they were landing on it. When they went, and it was a 50-50. We were always there. Somehow made it into a 70-30 or a 60-40 and ended up giving cheap fouls away. And the number of free kicks, I kind of get McKenna a little bit sour grapes afterwards. I get that, but he's sort of got a point. I mean, my God, how much was the ball in play second half? They were just lumping in free kicks and corners, but you need that in this division. You need it.
It was an absolute masterclass. We'll talk about the goal now. I do want to talk about Wolfenden's Titus Bramble-esque run. We'll come back to that. But as soon as this is a lesson that Kieran McKenna and the team needs to learn, which is firstly take your chances when you get them, but the second one is manage the game. And from the 78th minute, is it, when the goal goes in?
I mean, we barely got out of their half.
We did not have it.
No. I don't think we barely got in their half.
And you compare that to Shrewsbury and Oxford performances, where we don't get the second goal. Fine, okay, but we're not particularly good at running down the clock. And Rotherham were great at that. And the referee was on to us for time wasting.
Some of the best
Danassian throw-ins and stuff, isn't there?
But at least to be fair, the ref, at least he added on 9. I mean, 9. Yeah, there were injuries to it. There's quite, he was down sort of 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, and for once, I think we said on our chat, he said, "Oh, right, for once the ref's got this right. 9 minutes, brilliant." Really, I don't think we got out of our half.
No,
I don't think we got out of the right corner actually.
No, I think the only thing I can recall is Pigott, a ball into Pigott, and him being surrounded by 3 players. And
yeah.
Let's talk about this goal.
You're right. It was a lesson. But Rich, again, yesterday, when we did have a chance, our corners and free kicks and set plays again are just dreadful.
Yeah, not good enough.
God, Smith, and you need that at this level. We've all said it. You need that. You need to share. You're not going to score the perfect goal. You're not going to score a beautiful goal. Well, not at any level, for Christ's sake. You're not, unless you're Man City or Liverpool or something like that. But they need to be so much better. Really, I don't think. I can't remember the last time we got a corner and we won the first header. I'm struggling. I really am.
Well, there was a stat someone posted on Twitter, which I can't recall it, but it's something like a load of corners and no attempts on goal and all that kind of
No.
stuff. But in terms of plan B, a lot of people coming out yesterday, and we've got a question about it too, about tactics and having a plan B. A plan B for me isn't necessarily that you jettison your tactic because you're not being effective. Plan B is someone has a shot from range, or you get a free kick or a corner and you score from that. That to me is just as viable a plan B, but we just don't have the people in the
just
squad.
be solid. The plan B is to also, again, solid.
Don't concede.
I've got to say, second half yesterday, I'd say all through the game yesterday, Morsey was the most ineffective I've seen him in an Ipswich shirt, I think.
And when he's ineffective, Backinson's ineffective as well,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Backinson was off it yesterday. Yeah. No, it was. No, they did. Look, fair play to them. They needed on the back of 3 straight defeats. I know we laugh and say, "Oh, don't worry, Ipswich are coming into town. It's a soft touch."
On Sky.
Yeah, and Sky. Well, I mean, that's incredible. And what was it? 3 and is that right? 3 and 34? Did I? 3 and 35 now. Is that? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean they did an absolute number on us, and fair play. Like I said, they needed to win 3 games, but ultimately, like I said a little bit earlier, what a weekend for them, for Christ's sake! Unbelievable as it pans out. We'll get to that, obviously. Yeah,
let's talk about the goal very briefly because it comes about from this long throw in on the right hand side, and we just don't clear the ball. There's an early initial block, isn't there? But
I know again amongst our chat we were saying, "Oh, is that a foul on Backinson?"
Nah,
really, he's not pushed.
I thought that initially, but.
It's clever. It's quite clever. I think it's Edmonds. Is Edmonds Green? I think Harding takes the throw. I think it's Edmonds Green. We've all said it. If you don't get that first header, you get a bouncing ball bouncing around your 6-yard box. That's only going to lead to, certainly likely to lead to attempt on goal. I think obviously Tutu has a shot. Unbelievable block. I think a combination. I think it's Baggett, but a combination of either Baggett and Wolford, and brilliant. And I think Sam Parkinson on the EFL show, Baggett was really unlucky. He really bigged him up, didn't he? Clever from Smith, because if you watch it back, it's really clever from Smith. You'd think he would be there around the penalty spot, 6'3" or 4, or what he is, winning the header. But he's so clever. He sort of peels back, just waits in case it drops, and. Yeah, it's a good finish. He just uses Wolfenden as a shield, and Walton, who again yesterday, other than that, he had no chance. Was brilliant again yesterday. What he had to do, it's a good finish, isn't it? Typical, ain't scored in 7 games. You think you'd scuff that one wide? No, just place it nonchalantly in the corner. Off we go.
And we dealt with him pretty well. I mean, he had sniffs.
I think we did. I really think we did. I mean. Wolfenden and Baggett. I mean, that run from Wolfenden was just insane, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, talk to us about that, Dave.
Bramble did. Someone said on our chat that it was Bramble-esque. That we all remember the Sunderland one and several more that season, and which he could do. But it was just the way, and he sort of brought the ball forward and glided past players, and then. Even got into their half and then sort of got the touch, knocked it around the player, and wasn't the worst ball.
No,
final ball, but just
not the
didn't
option.
quite pick anyone up. It's not as if he scuffed it or anything. He put it in a good area, but could have been a bit more precise. But I suppose when you've just run 80 yards, to be fair, you just want to put it in a good area. And again, it didn't fall for it. Good strike from Burns. Good save from the keeper, probably.
Save.
That was the only real clear chance we had second half, wasn't it? Pretty much, as far as I remember.
Yeah, well, let's look at the attacking momentum. But after, that was just before they scored as well, and those key moments like that, just not going for us.
Nah.
He made all the subs. I don't think they made any difference to us. Here's the attacking
not yesterday.
Momentum.
God dear.
Just not good enough. And I'm trying to. It's a bit small. This. But in the end, dominate possession. But look at total shots.
3, was it? On target?
They've dominated us on that. It's very small. I should have made that a bit bigger. But just telling moments, isn't it? And as you said, a really great day for Rotherham, having turned their form around.
Incredible
Wigan
day.
And MK Dons both lose on the telly.
I didn't see it. Apparently, Bannon scored a worldie, didn't he?
Volley from like 35 yards out. Over the keeper.
Kieran, my son, got back and said, "Dad, you've got to see this goal." And I haven't had a chance to look at it this morning, but apparently it's an absolute worldie. I mean, it is tight there now. I mean, look, okay, we can finally concede. There is no sort of permutations or anything. Mathematically, we will not get in the playoffs, but my God, it's tight, isn't it?
It is, and
very, very tight.
lots of teams on form, and they're all beating each other. Wycombe beating Plymouth and all that kind of
Oxford,
stuff.
you've got to say now, are gone. You
Yeah.
think because of the others. I mean, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, there's 7. There's I mean, yeah, it's I wouldn't like to. I mean, Sunderland are the form team at the moment, and they just keep pulling it out of the bag, don't they? Every single week. I did see you.
It's a shame not to be part of it, but yeah, it's exciting. And what's worse, Dave, is we're going to miss out on 9th, potentially, aren't we? Down to 10th.
May even miss out on 10th.
Yeah, Bolton recovered for us.
I mean, you'd hope with the well, yeah. I mean, depending on if not beyond the realms of ability, we don't get a result against Wigan, a win against Wigan, and Bolton win, we're 11th.
Oh dear, poor.
Doom and gloom.
Get her out. No, both for the last 2 weeks, Morsey and this week Burns have both said we need to be more ruthless. I think that's true. But is there something to be said for the lack of creativity? I've got a game for you, Dave, and I've even made theme music. Are you ready for this?
Come on. Go on,
Here
then.
it comes.
Do it.
If you don't hear music, by the way, on YouTube, it's because they've got to us and they don't like fun on YouTube and or us borrowing stuff from other places. So the music will be familiar for those listening on the pod, hopefully. There you go.
Mate, what a talent. How good are you? Whoa. Come on. Give it to me. Brucey. You're Brucey then.
I can't do the voice. I want to know.
Nice to see you. No, I can't.
No, not well. These stats are not nice to see. So I will give you. So we'll play your stats, ITFC stats. Right. We're going to do assist makers for Ipswich Town this season. I'll start you with a 6 lead assist maker. Burns. So the next one's going to be very easy for you. So Wes Burns has 6. How many has Lee Evans got? Higher or lower than a 6?
Lower.
Yeah. He's got 3. Sammy Morsey, higher or lower than a 3?
Assists. I think they might be lower.
Can lower?
Yeah.
Wrong. He's got 5, Sammy Morsey. Yeah. Bit of resurgence. What about Selena? Higher or lower than a 5? Sammy Morsey.
He's got to be higher, hasn't he?
He's got the same. It's a trick question. But
same.
5.
5, okay. Yeah.
What about Macaulay Bonne? Higher or lower than a 5?
Assists we're talking about.
Yeah.
He's got to be lower, surely.
Yeah. Do you want to give me a guess? How many?
2.
2, correct.
Hey!
Matt Penny, higher or lower than a 2?
Oh, yeah, that might be a 1. I'd say
it's
lower.
A 1, correct, yeah.
Oh, he's all over it.
George Edmondson, higher or lower than a 1?
George Edmondson assist. Flick on from corners. Can't remember many of those. He might be 0.
He's a 2.
Oh,
he's got more assists than Matt Penny.
Yeah.
What about James Norwood, higher or lower than a 2?
I think he's higher, probably Norwood.
Just 1 more than George Edmondson, a 3 for Norwood. Finishing with Connor Chaplin, higher or lower than a 3?
Yeah, he's got to be higher, sure. Yeah, I'd say higher.
Lower.
No.
2. And that leads me to my question, Dave, is we bemoan maybe the strikers, and I think quite rightly, because there have been some wasteful finishing, but
creativity. Oh my God!
I was on Suffolk after the game with Matthew, who was berating me about bemoaning the strikers, and we both agreed that the left-hand side doesn't contribute a huge amount in terms of assists, but where the assists don't, Morsey's doing quite well there, Selena unsurprisingly, but Chaplin, Aluko, we not even mentioned Aluko, his name.
Don't stack up, does it? I mean, it doesn't stack up. Sorry, it does stack up. There's
the full list of assist makers. And I'm not seeing Aluko in there. Hayden Coulson's got more assists than Sonny Aluko.
Oh, what an assist he got for that. Was it the Bond header at when was that? At Lincoln, wasn't it? That was his assist, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Was it not his cross? I think.
Possibly. Vincent Young's got 3.
That's his 1. What a season Donasian's had. What a season he's had.
But there's something to be said here for the lack of chances being created by anyone in the team. Really,
I mean, we've said that. We've said that there hasn't been many occasions, and certainly in recent weeks, probably since me in McKenna's reign, where you've had glaring misses like Norwood yesterday, because we just haven't been in those positions. I can't remember many.
So
not like that, that creating a missing like that. I just can't. It's a lot of great football, a lot of football. We've said, and it's not being critical of Burns or Donassi. There was recent games, the Cheltenham game, maybe in the Cambridge game, could have even been the Plymouth game. I can't remember, where he's got to the line and just absolutely blitzed the ball across the 6-yard box. Really hasn't picked anyone out.
That's a Thompson and Penny special as well. They do that.
Yeah.
So,
who knows? I know we said about Coulson with that assist. That assist, I think, for the Bond goal at Lincoln. Had he stayed fit, you might have seen a bit more from there. But I mean, this season, very much like crikey, many other seasons recently, is what might have been, what should have been, probably again.
I'll tell you. So we'll talk about Wigan at the end, and tell you that Max Power is leading the assists for Wigan. He's got 11 assists this season, and I don't think he's played in too many. I think he might have only played. I'm trying to remember the appearances. I'm not sure he's played every single game, but I'll talk about. Well, I'll save it for the end, but put it this way. There are two players. There's one player who we all know who has got as many assists as Wes Burns, who's our lead assist maker, and he plays up front. So there you go. There you go. Shall I play the music one more time?
Likes a nice breakfast. Oh, yeah, go on, do it.
Let's do the music one more time before we go and do some questions. What else are you going to do at 6:30 on a Sunday morning?
Nothing for you. Getting nothing for a pair. Not in this game.
Hey, there we go. Maybe we'll bring that one back at some point in the future. Well done, Dave. I sprung that on you. Hopefully not as torturous as the CV game.
Not half as painful as the CV game used to be.
Yeah. Let's jump into the questions. And thank you to everyone, as always, for the questions. Ben, we'll start with Ben Dawkins' question here. First time watching a full 90 since Cheltenham at home. Lots of possession, but still no cutting edge or threat from set pieces. And when we need to do something different, a like-for-like change. I'm right behind McKenna, but should he try something different when we've been sussed out?
I think, yeah. I mean, hearing Matthew on the commentary, I've always long since championed that, but two up front. And there's permutations of that, but certainly I think so. And in game, definitely.
Yeah, and it does come back. There's different as we said before, different forms of Plan B. But this,
it's not on configuration. Ben will be saying, "Oh, he's on about 4-4-2." No, I'm not on it. I'm not in any way sort of promoting 4-4-2 here. But like I said, a different permutation of at least getting two up front. Yeah, I think so.
Because the configuration yesterday of the 2 10s and a forward we didn't have the ball up that end of the field too much, particularly second half. What's the worst?
When you hear the team and you think, oh wow, God, flipping neck, okay, Norwood up front, but we've got Selina and Aluko playing perhaps that's almost pivotal 10 role. You think, wow, this is awesome. Look forward to this, but yeah, never really in it, were they? Never really. First 15 probably, but yeah, just didn't happen.
Advocating a little bit, different there up front, Ben, by the look of it. FBL Tractor, does Baggett's assured league debut show us we shouldn't be scared to promote Humphreys and Simpson?
Yeah, well, look, we've done it to death, haven't we? Simpson, I think we've done it to death on the pod, certainly on the various forums and stuff like that about his contract, and God knows what's going on there. He hasn't even featured in a squad yet since his return from Swindon. So it seems that the management are Ashton and the management are sort of really keeping a hard line on that one. Who knows? Yeah, I wouldn't at all be surprised, certainly, to see, I guess, assume Humphreys in the 18 for Tuesday.
Yep. El Mazzuni there on the bench yesterday. Is it
El Mazzuni? Yeah. I
just feel sorry for El Mazzuni because whenever he's coming to the team, I seem to remember Sheffield Wednesday at home did a really great job on Bannon, didn't he?
Oh, he did. He did. Yeah.
I know that both he and Morsey, I think, are on Ramadan at the moment, and that's obviously difficult for fitness and stuff like that. So
that's a very good point you make actually yesterday about Morsey. It is a good point. That's what I forgot about that. That he just didn't look I mean, you never see Morsey get caught on the ball, do you? Never do you see him get caught on the ball. And yesterday, 2 or 3 times, all right, they were at it. They were in our faces second half. You saw him get caught. But, yeah, a good point you make there. Maybe that it must be a factor. It has to be a factor.
Yeah. So maybe
just for energy levels, surely.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And him and Ilmazuni together probably is a little bit too much of a pressure on the other one in terms of fitness, isn't it? So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see Humphreys there. And Pigott came on. Dave, would you start Pigott on Tuesday?
Yeah, what have we got to lose? Probably. Yeah. I think so. Again, not really featured, but what he did do yesterday, ball played up to him. I thought, what's a difficult ball to take? But, nice, kept possession, touched it on first time touch, around the corner and stuff, found a player. He just didn't have a chance to make an impact, but I think I would.
Yep. Maurice Claude, ITFC now surprisingly in the bottom half of the form league, according to Maurice. Plenty of potential causes for optimism, but shows the scale of the task ahead. Strikers obviously biggest issue. Wonder if McKenna would have kept Will Keane, his type of player. Bit too expensive for us now. Yeah,
probably. So 20 goals. Yeah,
I'll talk about Will Keane shortly, but
we'll need.
What type of striker do you think McKenna's going to go for? Because a lot of people getting excited about Cole Stockton and Joe Ironside. I just worry that we talked about this on the Telegram group, didn't we? That it has potential for Pigott, hasn't it? Situation that they've done well for one club, and we assume they'll just hit the ground running for us.
The ideal is going to be young, mobile, and free scoring.
Quick as well. Needs to be
young, mobile, pacey, free scoring.
£5 million quid. Yeah, they grow on trees, don't they? It's interesting. Well, you got Sam Williams, haven't you? New head of recruitment. Hopefully, he'll have plenty of people on his list.
Yeah.
Chris Rand, game changer in Ashton. Talking of transfers, have never failed to surprise us. From 19 players coming in last summer to a genuinely left field choice of manager, how surprising could they be this summer? Give us a really outrageous
I don't
prediction.
expect us. I think we but surely, it won't be another 19. I mean, that was just unprecedented, wasn't it? And then it didn't help, did it? Because I know, and I'm not going to use the G word, but it does take time just for the whole squad to knit as a squad. I guess you'd say, let alone finding the best 11. So I think we've said on our chat that maybe we can see maybe 6 or 7 out, and maybe the same number in, perhaps.
Yeah.
And maybe some surprise in that. You've got to look at, the loan signings. Selena, Bon. I'll be very surprised if who would have said this back in November? I'll be very surprised if Bon is with us next season. Let's face it, what he had, 10, 11 goals by the end of October, wasn't it, into November. Everybody's saying, this is terrible. QPR could be recalling him, for goodness sake, over the Christmas period. Just hasn't worked for him since. Just one reason or another. I know perhaps, personally there's been some sort of issues with his personal life. Really, sad issues. Some, which again is a factor for these guys. Selena, he's the one. I just don't know, because he should be so good, and he is. I mean, in flashes, he should be so good, shouldn't he? Mm. But I just don't know. I'm not sure there either. Are you?
No, I like the idea of Selena in a League One team, but as we were talking about before, in terms of goals and contributions and so on,
it's not enough.
And yesterday he did disappear, didn't he?
He did. Aluko, I think, seems to be, he's the one that he surprised me. Maybe, again, not his greatest game yesterday. No, just wasn't. Sounds like he might stay, perhaps. I know he's 33, but seemingly he's a really good influence around the club. I mean, I know you don't keep players just for that, but, for me, he's certainly contributed, certainly at League One. He can still continue to contribute, obviously looks after himself. But there's a Thompson. Yeah, not for me. I don't think. I think we need our own. Yeah, get a full back in there.
Not 100% on Backinson either.
No, after perhaps again, you sort of kind of saw the limitations there yesterday when Morsey was slightly off it and sort of getting dominated. Yeah, Backinson really didn't contribute, did he? I think we've missed Evans. I think Evans was just really growing into him and Morsey. I think I said before on the pod, maybe last week or midweek with Mikey, that also his set plays were better obviously working on those. Yeah, it was just unfortunate. Yeah, again, it's Ipswich. I mean, no, every team gets these injuries, but Jackson came in, was fulfilling that role brilliantly that he wanted him to play. Really, I'll say he wasn't ripping it up, but he was scoring the odd goal, giving you that pace you need up there. He gets injured, he's out. Yeah. But it'd be interesting. Some of the younger players, as again we said, player like Edwards, Harper, who I have seen has actually been starting now for Crewe the last 4 games and playing 90 minutes as well. Full pre-season under McKenna for those two. Yeah, both really promising young players, really, really promising. So, yeah, and another interesting summer.
My prediction, I'm not sure it's particularly outrageous, as I think there'll be 4 or 5 players who we signed for fees last summer who will be sold or will leave.
Wow. Ooh,
I think there'll be that many. And partly because I think it might be pathway related. We know that McKenna has reduced the squad numbers to make the likes of Baggett have more of an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be keen to do that as well. But I just think there are players who are not justifying wages or, who are certainly more than capable players, but just don't fit. And I think there might be some surprise departures, is my prediction based on nothing whatsoever, Chris. But you asked for an outrageous prediction, so there you go, 4 or 5. I mean, one of them's Hladky, I think, is not a surprise.
Oh, yeah. No, I think
there's going to be maybe there's some names in there that won't surprise too many, but I think there will be some others in there that might. So,
I mean, Hladky's been quite heavily linked with Aberdeen this week.
Yeah,
his former manager was
TWTD reported maybe not linked as strongly as others think.
Oh, okay.
I think
again, that's his previous manager was his manager at St Mirren. I think was Jim Goodwin. Right. I think.
Yep, rings a bell.
So yeah, I mean, Hladky certainly wouldn't be a surprise. As what we do is back up. Then I mean, I don't even think Holy's been getting a start at Port Vale. Yeah, Port Vale.
I think he's out of contract, isn't he?
Sorry.
Is Holy out of contract?
I think he might be. That's a good point. Also, he might be out of contract.
So another prediction is that we'll have a big name goalkeeper sign, but it will be a big name goalkeeper from about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I quite like we talked about this on the Telegram group as well, which I definitely recommend getting involved. The chat, as more and more people get involved, the chat gets really diverse. Really enjoyed it. I quite like the idea of an experienced number 2 backup keeper who isn't going to expect or demand first team games, but he's got enough experience to step in when you need it.
We need to get in the cycling GK. We need to get
him. Ben Foster.
Get in the cycling GK.
He's out of contract.
Sorry?
Imagine he's out of contract as well in the summer.
Oh my God, get him in. Oh my God, unbelievable.
Giving us all hope. There you go. 2 more questions, which I'll try and stick together. Dave Gort, without Jackson to run in behind to make space for the 10s, should McKenna consider 2 up top? There you go.
Yeah.
With a sole number 10 to try and work the opposition defence more and create more chances. And then Paul Westlake from the Telegram group. If teams stop Burns and JD, they remove our threat. Do you think a left-sided attacking option is more important than the striker we're looking for? If they get no service, what use of the forwards? So
I agree.
You mentioned 2 up front already, but left-sided options probably chief top of the list.
No, I agree. He'll want to get that left wing back role sorted fairly quickly.
Yep. Good questions there. Thank you everyone for getting your questions in there. Really helpful to drive the debate and continue putting Dave on the spot, which is what we're here to do. In terms of bits and pieces coming up on the pod worth looking out, obviously for next week in the game against Wigan, which we'll talk about in a sec. Wednesday night we'll do our normal live Q&A, but obviously that will be focusing on the post-match after Wigan. We've got the usual shows for Crewe coming up, Prematch and the Flagship show Friday morning and Sunday lunchtime/afternoon. Do join the Blue Monday Telegram group. We've talked about that. Link on the website, bluemonday.itfc.co.uk. And when you join, just don't forget to turn off your notifications if you're not joining in the match day chat. A few of our membership morning or afternoon to you guys came back to find 250 messages, I think it was, wasn't it? So, yeah, have you enjoyed that, Dave? It's good, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, really busy. It's busy. Like I said, I was saying to Mikey on Wednesday that sometimes I'll be sitting there in the afternoon, so my phone's here, I'm working, and I'll go into a Teams meeting or something like that, and something's happened to cause debate, and I'll come out of the meeting literally, as you said, and it's like 70 notifications in about 3/4 of an hour. I mean, yeah, it's really back and forth. It's really good, really brilliant.
And we'll keep it going through the summer, obviously, as well. But yeah, the first 2 weeks are on us. So now's the time to kind of sign up whilst there's still fixtures. But I'm sure when we get into silly season, when it comes to transfer rumours and all that kind of fun stuff, new kits coming out, there'll be lots of debate there. So Blue Monday, ITFC.co.uk, the link to join the Telegram.
Self and Mikey were debating at quite for a reasonable level the other night. We think a Fred Perry sponsored kit would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, you hipsters, you bloody love that kind of stuff.
The big old laurel on the front like that. Awesome.
Not Stoline.
We mentioned, of course, then we got into debate about kits, and we mentioned your two-tone, your commentary two-tone shirt, which I trust you've still got bagged up, have you?
It's bagged up, and tagged. Yeah, I'm keeping that safe.
That's an investment. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think it's already gone up 10 quid in price on eBay. So yeah, keeping that very nice and safe and pristine.
We both said, I think Joe mentioned that, because Joe obviously like most on the team is a kit fiend, and he thinks Hummel would be quite nice. I
love Hummel.
Yeah, we love that, don't we?
I keep hearing a lot of chat about Umbro though on Twitter, which it's fine, but Hummel for me, would be ideal.
Yeah.
I don't know who makes Wigan's kits. Maybe it's JD Sports or whoever it is, DW, I don't know. But they are next for us. What about that for a segue? I'm only my host's
just
Easter eggs
unbelievable today. You're all over it.
Off the back of a surprise defeat to Cambridge. Not, winning at home to Cambridge isn't for everyone. Their first loss of any kind since losing to Sunderland in late February, but they still top the league by 4 points. They're on a bit of a bad run, Dave. No wins in their last 2 matches.
Yeah.
Also draw 0-0 with Burton.
Draw 1-1, drew, lost. Yeah.
Best away record in the league, though, by far. 13 wins.
A goal. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? 15.
No, it's Rotherham, not them. It's Rotherham that's barely conceded.
Oh, Rotherham away from home. Ridiculous.
It's insane,
8 goals conceded, of which 3 of those 8 came on Tuesday night at Portsmouth. So 38% of their away goals scored in one.
We touched on it briefly. What a weekend for Rotherham! Unbelievable weekend. Lost 3 straight games, in danger of missing out on automatic completely, and now their second game in hand again on MK, and it's totally back in their hands now.
Talk to me about Liam Richardson. Obviously doing a great job there, the main man. How much credit do we think he needs to take for Paul Cook's historic success? It's the debate that we have, haven't it?
You've got to say a fair amount, looking at the success they've had to date this season. Yeah, it really. We've seen it. I know we spoke about previous years gone by, the Lambert and Culverhouse double act that was, is that a big factor? And I think it probably is for these managers. It really is.
Kind of it all. Yeah. And in terms of the people to look out for, Will Keane, Dave, 21 goals. You mentioned it, from his 39 starts. No injuries.
It's those pre-match hash browns, Rich. It's those pre-match hash browns he has, mate. I'll tell you.
Getting his helicopter down at Milsom's.
Piling them on at Milsom's, he was. Piling them on.
But
what a season.
Look,
we liked him, didn't we? I know our friend GB of the Naked Footy Show, Graham, loves Will Keane. And we always, obviously he played in that really, really poor side. But yeah, good touch. Good. But again, it's Ipswich. He was injured.
Yeah. Not McGoldrick.
Of course he was.
Similar to us, the right-hand side is where the goals come from. Callum Lang on the right wing, 14 goals, 7 assists. Max Power, 11 assists.
Best name in football.
11
assists is insane, isn't it? Insanity.
4 of those have come in his last 7 games as well. So.
And he got steady players in there. You look centre mid, that's Shinny, been around the block, played championship. Yeah.
Tom Naylor in there sitting. I mean, you've got. So Gwion Edwards came into the team yesterday, or against Cambridge. He's 28 starts, but 1 goal, 2 assists. He'll be open to start though, won't he, on Tuesday night? Yeah.
It'll be tough. Good to see. Good, again, a nice. You'd think back 4 and back 4, back 5 won't change again. So nice to see our Baggett, big game under the lights gets on there. But yeah, certainly, like I say, really, really encouraging performance from him yesterday for his first game.
Yep. Wigan. A few more bits and pieces before we get a prediction from you. Second for goals scored.
Yeah.
92 yellow cards. That is pretty bad going. Only one red. 92 yellows. For
That seems
by
hell of a
reference,
lot.
Rotherham have got 55, but only one red. So
yeah,
I think they're quite good at the kind of time wasty, game management-y, kind of niggly fouls.
We've seen it. We see it
Rather
every
than be
week,
dirty.
week in, week out. I'm just looking at the running they've got. So after us, I mean, Plymouth at home, Pompey away, Shrewsbury away. I mean, Portsmouth will be fighting for that 9th spot. So they won't want to lose that. They won't want to lose that. Rotherham, I mean, it's all Rotherham. I mean, I think Burton home, Oxford home, Sunderland away, and Gillingham away, and MK, Oxford away, Morecambe home, Plymouth away. I won't want to call it. I think Rotherham they got that. Rotherham have got that. Yeah, Rotherham. Yeah, I don't know. MK and Rotherham, I don't know. I wouldn't like to call it. Maybe Rotherham after yesterday, big result for them yesterday.
I think
might have just got that momentum. Might have just got that momentum.
Yeah. I think MK, a nice team, but the trouble is, if you watched it last night, no one in the ground, and Rotherham's crowd made a bit of a difference. I think.
Kieran said that. Kieran said they're at it right from the off. Yeah,
and that might be big for the playoffs as well. If you draw, if MK drew Sunderland or Sheffield Wednesday in the playoffs, and they've got 5,000 away support, I just think,
And the thing with Rotherham, they do it every other season. They get promoted anyway.
True.
So
they know how to do it. Give us your prediction for Wigan on Tuesday night, Dave. Do you hold out much hope?
Do you know what? So, Rich, I was thinking about this. Am I right? Was the last time we played Wigan at home the game back in, or have we played them since then?
No, we played them since then.
Sorry?
Were you thinking they're not the 2-1 on Christmas? No,
we must have played them.
We played them in the leagues, and did we play them in 18-19? Let me. I've got
all these. I'll tell you what, Rich. All these seasons in recent seasons for me just merge into one big form of crapness. Basically,
we played them.
We must have done.
We played them last season.
Oh no, we did. No, what am I talking about? Yeah, because I remember. Yeah, of course we played them. Yeah. I'll just. Yeah. But maybe I'm harping back. Maybe hang on, tenuous link here. Maybe the last time we played them under lights at Portman Road, perhaps. You probably put me right on that as well.
I don't have that information to hand.
But that is one of the greatest games, the greatest nights of the last. Well, it is 20 seasons.
I love watching those goals back. That Darren Bent lob.
Oh,
last minute. That's what you want.
Darren Curry's home debut, and obviously the Leighton Blaine's blast.
I think the last time we played them at Portman Road, we beat them 2-0, but I can't remember the game.
Yeah, it was the first game of the season. First game of the season.
There you go. Of course it was. Yeah, of course it was.
Bishop scored. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and we thought, here we go.
Yeah.
But they were dysfunctional at that point. Hadn't Sheridan just come in? And
they're all over the place.
Yeah, Cook had left, and Cook was in the studio actually for Sky that game.
Was he?
Yeah. There you go.
Sorry. I think the last time we played them under the lights, very tenuous link. But I mean, if it's a game as good as that, goodness me, that, like I said, that's one of my, and I think most people say that, one of probably our favourite games in the well, it is since we were last in the Prem, probably. Those stick out games, that game, obviously the Sheffield United, Dale Roberts 3-2 game, that game. My God, there's been slim pickings, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Newcastle at home, I suppose, that was great. But my God, there hasn't been many. So look, you do want to. The season, it's over for us. It's not a dead rubber because obviously look where Wigan are. But you just want to put in a good performance and have these last 3 games. But what you don't want is to sort of capitulate, lose on Tuesday. Not get much of a result against Crewe, and then again Charlton at home last game. It's just damp squib, isn't it, sort of thing.
Yeah. Can you give me a scoreline? No, you don't, do you? On the force, though.
I'm going for a 1-1.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Sit on the fence scoreline.
I think I'm going to go for a 1-2. Sorry, everyone, but I think Wigan need the points more than we do at the moment, and that probably will be. And Liam Richardson will want to avenge Paul Cook, so there's some narrative for you as well. Dave, thank you so much as always for your company. Mate. Great chat, and enjoyed that. Enjoy the rest of your Easter Sunday, and no doubt speak to you next week at some point.
Cheers, mate.